Happy now. Peace. Now it's to vibrate. You know what I'm saying? Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Well, here, as a conscious person that stays open-minded, I find myself back at this point of speculating about whether the earth is flat or not. In which at this point, the speculation seems like it's leaning towards more of like the earth being flat, but I'm still at this point in this video. I'm not gonna hit my gavel down and say the earth is flat. But I'm gonna just say that, they're starting to have a little more evidence that's starting to support it, And matter of fact, I was thinking to a little simple stuff like, well, if the earth is, constantly moving at a circle, that means when we get on the airplane, if we traveling against the spin, like it should halven your time of, the ETA, the estimated time of arrival, like it should cut it in half if you're going against the grain of the earth spinning. They say the rotation is so many miles per hour, you know what I'm saying? And if you take the little physics and do little problems, which was funny, with the science behind a lot of it, you could probably find a little way to make the math, expose that they are lying. But to a certain extent, they do have formulas to support their lies, you know what I'm saying? Because also, like, I saw a bunch of guys talking about on videos where when you explain, like, say, for instance, if a helicopter was to just rise from the ground, anything, you know what I'm saying, was just to rise from the ground, if the earth is moving, that means, if it's just a hover for, matter of fact, we watch the sun move, how can I say, the sun moved, the earth moving, whatever, but you could tell that as time passed, something's moving, you know what I'm saying? So put it like this, if a helicopter or something hovered for at least an hour, we would know that, if it came back to land, it would be on a different part, by that time, because, the earth's still spinning. But even though, like I say, some of the scientists, got little formulas to say, oh no, the gravitation is gonna pull you with the turn, you know what I'm saying? Which there's a lot of evidence to, really kind of to how can I say, to discredit that conversation, to discredit that argument that, oh yeah, that the gravity gonna pull, whatever it is in the air along with the earth's, movement. And then there's the fact that, it's holding water. Some people are basically with this, if this is true, then some people are like living upside down, on the other side of the earth, which gravity makes possible, whatever. And then this is the whole thing with NASA, and say, for instance, with the ancient, it all began for me with looking at ancient stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, the ancients kind of speak of, like, the four corners of the world. And, they don't talk about no circular thing. They talk about, matter of fact, they talk about a firmament and a dome. Like, once you get to the firmament, you know what I'm saying, it pierces the dome, you know what I'm saying, into the abyss, you know what I'm saying. That's started from the land of Kemet, Egypt, all that, you know what I'm saying. They'll have a hieroglyph where they got, like, it's basically, they use people, but it got like a person over, the other people is to be the firmament, you know what I'm saying, personification of the firmament. So if the ancients, had this idea of a flat earth, you know what I'm saying, with me, it's just, that intuition, that common sense, that spider sense to start kicking in, like, all right, well, you think about that, well, the ancients had this evidence, and then you think about today, well, you got NASA, saying that they're going on these missions, that the earth is round and this and that, but then NASA, Operation Paperclip, point blank period, go look that up. Operation Paperclip is when they took all the Holocaust scientists and just took them directly from killing and cloning and all that shit and just implemented them as, as NASA scientists. So, you want me to take the teachings from those Nazis and, matter of fact, and then sprinkle a little Freemasonry in there, you know what I'm saying, which was their main thing, hiding the truth. Now, they let you know that that's their job, to hide the truth. And people still won't believe that they hide the truth, which is, look, I ain't gonna say much power, I'm gonna just say, look, I see y'all, fellas, look, I ain't gonna say salute, but, y'all fooling somebody. But we're gonna stop that though. But anyway, you know, you got NASA with these Nazi scientists, and you got the Freemasonry mixing there. And so you got these guys from NASA, you know, claiming CGI pictures and the Earth is round, which the pictures change from time to time. Sometimes North America bigger than South America, sometimes South America bigger than Africa. You know, I'm bullcorning, but it do vary. If you go look out at different little, you know, CGIs of the globe, you know, they vary. But you know, you have these people who's basically behind the information they giving you. So you want me to go with some Nazis who try to, you know, try to give people false information and kill them? You know, which that, you get deeper into the Holocaust, it's deeper than that. You know, they wasn't just killing people, they was trying to play a little storyline or whatever. They was really whipping up some stories and some evilness. But, you know, but you want me to expect that the Nazi scientists from that time and era, you know, from the Holocaust, is gonna just get to NASA. They're gonna start NASA and be like, you know what, guys, we're gonna start a new leaf. You know, we're gonna start telling people the truth. You know, Freemasons, you know, Nazis, let's come together and let's start telling the truth to people. I'm tired of all this controlling people and the money and all this. Let's start being fair with people and tell the truth. I'm pretty sure that's what y'all, you know, that's what at least people act like, you know, that's what they think they saying, you know. But you think the Nazi scientists gonna say that? Like, let's tell everybody the truth. Let's take away our power and our, you know, and that little hidden knowledge, you know, keeps our power. So we're gonna take away our power and just open up the floodgates, give everybody that knowledge. You know, no, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, like I said, and if this information existed with the ancient people also, you know what I'm saying, then that kind of let you know that when somebody came in the 1700, 1800, whenever it was, you know, when the Illuminati first showed his face, you know, wanted to start hiding things, you know, when people like that get a hold of information like that, you know, to keep their power, they hide stuff like that from you, you know what I'm saying? So how could I even think that, you know, that NASA and all this is telling me the truth, you know what I'm saying? You want me to believe that somebody who, like I say, who was based on trying to create propaganda, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, because we was bullcorning about that, like, because even one of my partners, as I was telling him about this story, even brought up like how even the Pledge of Allegiance is like a Nazi thing, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that wants you to, and matter of fact, like, and with the Pledge of Allegiance, because that's how they say how I got to America too, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, like, you know what I'm saying? How you want me to believe and trust information coming from somebody who's all about brainwashing? Because, that's what I was gonna bring up. Because with the Pledge of Allegiance thing, you know what I'm saying, too, on a whole different subject, like, I know I'm a little bit everywhere, but work with me. But on the Pledge of Allegiance subject, it's like, you don't even need no Pledge of Allegiance. You know, the fact that I'm just walking around loving everybody and not harming nobody is my Pledge of Allegiance, you know what I'm saying? The fact that I go to work and you know, and normally, you know, of course I'm getting enlightened information and stuff like that, yeah, but at the same time, my Pledge of Allegiance is about me not killing people and acting crazy, you know what I'm saying, and not being a menace to society. That's my Pledge of Allegiance, you know what I'm saying? So I don't have to get and do no Pledge of Allegiance, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that lets you know what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with. Because why would somebody make me Pledge of Allegiance, you know, if I'm already not harming nothing or nobody, you know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to make you pledge to somebody, you know, to something that's like a game. You know, people think, you know, we crazy when we call, like, you know, the government and police gangs and stuff like that, but that's a whole, like, that situation, that's a personification of it. That's like, dang, you got a Pledge of Allegiance to be down. Like, where that come from? But anyway, I don't want to get away from the flat earth situation. But you got these Nazi scientists and NASA, you know what I'm saying, that bin line, you know what I'm saying, and with Operation Paperclip, like I say, the Freemasons, like all that's intertwined, you know, you go look up a lot of evidence, you know what I'm saying. Matter of fact, dealing with Antarctica and how they want to leave Antarctica alone. Like Antarctica is the only place that all government officials could say, hey y'all, we gonna get along and we not gonna fuck with this place, you know. We're just gonna, you know, no wars, no nothing. Just look, peace. We're gonna fight over everything else, but we're gonna leave Antarctica alone. You know, and that stuff like that just, you know, doesn't make any sense, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. You know, it's so much now, you know, that's why it's leaning more towards the flat earth thing, you know, because it's so much evidence building against it, you know, and there's a lack of evidence on the NASA side, on the, you know, the CGI picture side, you know what I'm saying? Because too, at this point, man, you got so much technology to prove a flat earther wrong, you know, if the earth is round, you have so much technology to prove it's wrong. I mean, because matter of fact, you got so much technology, but you can't go to the depths of the seas and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's like, how can you tell me, you know, that this situation exists, you know, when you got all this technology, but you're faking like you're using it, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I forgot this scientist's name, man. Damn, he get his name from, I don't even want to slaughter it, but he was the first person to like build a little dome, like a little airtight space, and take his balloon up into the sky, you know what I'm saying? Actually kind of got to see that it was like almost like a straight horizon or whatever, you know. I forgot his name. But he ended up going up and see that. Matter of fact, somebody brought up that a Hennessy commercial had kind of reenact his situation, but made him go so high, he's going through clouds, and then he pierces apart and then goes into some water. You know, as a matter of fact, it's almost like the Illuminati in plain sight saying, hey, look, we showing y'all, even though y'all still gonna believe the earth is round. But basically showing them go through the clouds, get out of the atmosphere, and then go through some more water, you know what I'm saying? Pierce the firmament that the ancient people talked about, you know what I'm saying? And then with all this being said too, I want to add too to, you know, the No Forest on Flat Earth video, you know, which is a good video. Matter of fact, cause that's the whole point of me getting back on the Flat Earth situation, is when I saw the explanation about this and about the Devil's Tower. So matter of fact, go on YouTube and look up No Forest on Flat Earth, and you should find a video. They may have an English version, because I think the guy is foreign. You know, it may be hard to understand them, but you know, I understand them pretty good. But you know, it basically talks about the Devil's Tower and the Giant's Causeway, which is another place with the same type of you know, shape or whatever. And basically, the Devil's Tower, which the scientists try to say, oh yeah, that's just a melted. That's rocks from magma and lava, you know, from a volcano from back in, you know, from way back or whatever, and that's like rock, and you know, it's not nothing else, nothing more than that. And for one, you know, when you look at all the pictures of melting lava and, you know, and molten magma, all that, you know, it doesn't look like no tree stump, you know, like a big super huge tree stump. Which brings me to my next point. You know what I'm saying? It is a big tree stump, you know, if you look at evidence showing, you know what I'm saying? Look at the fact that, you know, you had big trees around at one time too, especially like in like Silicon Valley, which is gonna make another point, you know, but like on the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? You have all these redwoods and sequoias that I'm pretty sure they had some even bigger, which I saw some pictures of some and how huge they were or whatever. But you know, if a group of Earthlings, you know, which are smaller, you know what I'm saying, get on Earth and start tearing all that shit down, you know, that will cease to exist. But anyway, you got the Devil's Tower, and then you got basically the stump has like little muscle-like fibers if you look at it good, you know what I'm saying. And you know, magma and lava not gonna form like that when it dries up. Matter of fact, go look at pictures of it, you know what I'm saying, and you'll see the difference. but the tree basically got like some hexagonal little fibers, like it's like built in hexagonal fibers, and you could tell that almost each fiber is almost individually by itself but connected, because they do have some of the fibers that have fallen, like kind of like a column, you know what I'm saying? And you'll see what I'm talking about when you go look at the video and look at the picture of Devil's Tower. But you know, it has a hexagonal shape, you know, each kind of like individual fibers, you know, going up. And it was proven that, you know, that they did have trees that were based, you know, heavily based in silicone, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, like I say, the scientists will try to say, oh yeah, that's just melted lava, this and that and this, but nah, you know, that's silicone, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, another thing, you know, dealing with the trees being back big, you know, that would support, you know, basically it could support a little bit having a flat earth, as far as like you need space for some big giant motherfuckers to live, you know what I'm saying? To roam, you know, you need a lot of space, you know what I'm saying? And also, it kind of proves, like, you know, that they, you know, probably did have the giants, the Nephilim, you know, that roamed the earth, you know, because of how big the trees were. And to add on top of that, Avatar probably was a true story. You don't even know it, you know. Think about the movie Avatar with the blue people, man, where they had how giant those people were and how big the trees were and everything, you know what I'm saying? And they got a bunch of evidence and craters around Earth where they, you know, they try to use these explanations and say it's something else, you know what I'm saying? But when you look deep into the situation, you could kind of prove through comparison that it's, you know, it's basically a situation that's just like this Devil's Tower, you know, the silicone tree that you know, that has been cut, you know, from way back, you know. But it's stuff like that should make you think, you know, that, hey, maybe, you know, I shouldn't just say for sure that the earth is round. That's another thing. Look at that point. How much they try to teach us that the earth is round in school and in programming. And now that you know that the government and 1% has always been trying to brainwash you and make a work out of you, you know what I'm saying? Make you believe what they want you to believe, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it starts, you know, matter of fact, the veil is lifting, man. This is the Aquarius age, man. It's too much information with meditation and getting your pineal gland right. It's so many vibrations that's lifting people to higher realms, you know, right now. So it's harder for people to, you know, like that, to keep up with those type of lies, you know. And like I say, am I saying I'm hitting my gavel and saying the earth flat? Not hitting my gavel, but I got my gavel in hand ready to say, like, you know, it just, you know, the evidence is just starting to, you know, steamroll towards flat earth, you know. Like I say, you know. In which, because even then, when the flat earth stuff first came, like, I was kind of dove directly into it, because, you know, being into that conspiracy theorist type of, you know, thing, night, and I always bring that up. After seeing so many conspiracies in this world, you know, you always question everything, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing, I'm like, oh yeah, it gotta be true, man, it gotta be some truth to it. But then they kind of like, well, and that's how it seemed like a government probe, because you had some people that was making some old, you know, some stuff you couldn't support, even though they were with the flat earth situation. It was stuff that was like, I don't know if I could support that, you know, how you trying to prove it, you know. Had to grab my stone, but, you know, it's situations, you know, how can I say, well, you just kind of gotta flow with the information, man, you know. Like I said, you could get grabbed, you jump too far in, dive deep. As soon as you hear something, it's like, oh, you know, and you're crawling back. Because I even heard some stuff about Dr. Sebi, you know, that kind of made me do the little rocks. You know, I'm like, maybe do the people's eyebrow, you know. So I'm like, like, kind of like, well, he may have been in some setup situational type of stuff, but I ain't going out there like that, and I'ma just I'm gonna let that blow in the wind. Let y'all do research. Like I say, research everything I say and everything you see. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically it, man. Just go look up Devil's Tower, Giants Causeway, Silicon Valley. You know, matter of fact, that was my point. Silicon Valley, where all the redwood trees at and stuff like that. You know, and the silicone is what the basis of the Devil's Tower is made out of. Giants Causeway and other places on Earth that's, you know, similar. Go look at Operation Paperclip and the Nazis and how the Nazis and Freemasons been over control of NASA, and, you know, in which, like I say, man, you know, like how can you, and I mean, I'm a person, man, look, I feel like anybody could get a second chance, or, you know, like I could find the love in Hitler heart. I swear I could. I know I could. That's how, you know, that's how close to unconditional love I am. I know I could find a love in his heart. But by all means, it's just too hard to believe that, you know, that some Nazi scientists have been trying to clone and lie and, you know, deal with misinformation for the longest, gonna just get up one morning and say, you know, it's time to start telling people the truth. Even, and matter of fact, especially in those times, because we're not talking like whereas today, where in the case of where you got all this information, you know, because even the government is kind of slick side doing that right now, where they kind of keeping it real about some stuff because they don't want to seem like they've been lying that hard to y'all, or make it seem like, oh, we just discovered this. Oh, look at this. Oh, what have you? The earth is flat. You know, that's kind of how they pulling shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but just stay aware and pay attention to the information, you know what I'm saying? And think about it too, you know? Like, you can't, just stay open-minded. It's hard to be skeptical about things that has more evidence to support. And like I say, and that's what stands strong for me. This may not be for everybody. It teaches on different strokes for different folks. But what stands strong for me is the fact that the ancient people who the Freemasons and the Nazis studied, I repeat, all the rituals and all these things that these guys, the Nazis and Freemasons, practice. They get from the land of Kemet and Kush and even further back. Atlantis, Lemuria, these things, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they get that from the ancients. And if the ancients were speaking of a firmament, you know, then why, when these people get in control, things change and now the earth is round? People's eye, bro. Peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the past. Not too far in the future. Right now. Question things. No forest on flat earth. Go watch that video.